Nana. It's a problem with a closed door. Good news, good news, good news. That's all they want to hear. Man, thank you just puked it all out, huh? When I'm buying your number, make them so uncomfortable. What's different? What's the difference? Oh, for waiting on the other side. Always waiting. Feel like summer. I like the bids here. It has to reclaim this little valley area. If it does, I'll buy more on the S&P because I'm long from last night. Only Smalley took like 2 lots on it, so it's not like it's a massive position. I only scaled 1 out. I like 70, I think. I don't remember what the scale was. And then NQ is it's dumping. It's on a mission somewhere. Chips are getting wrecked. It's so bad. If the S&P can hold here, it's looking pretty good given the NQ is just going on a tear to the downside. The S&P's holding pretty well, I must say, given that. No. Alright, we'll bid here. And then we'll raise our stop probably to below the value area. Show my order fills. Let's show my order. I see my cost balance. See my actual fill. I can't see it. Oh well. I got filled though. I added 2 more lots. I should have a total of 3. Yep, I have 3. See if you can catch a bid or not. It's pretty much risk off the open on the NQ. There's another bid there. Boom. Got a couple more lots. Alright, we're at 5 now. I'm always too busy dreaming. Just be easy. So they're trying to put in like a failed breakdown of yesterday's value or low, which is a good sign, a good long area for me. Oh no, I don't even know. Um, do you foresee needing care? Yeah, I just keep it as is. Yeah. Well, the first one you said then. Hi. Yes. Mm-hmm. Go to the website. Oh, okay, what you got work? What are you working on? You're speaking. No worries, man. Good. How are you doing today? Good, thanks. A bit tired, but coffee, nice, man. What you got? What are you drinking? What you drinking today, man? For your coffee? Black. Oh, espresso black. Very good. What a man. What a man. What were you working on your project or site? My goodness, I'm getting terminated by all these windows. A macro gauge? Oh, cool. Can't wait to see it. What's it gauging? Longer term view? That's awesome. Is it somewhat similar to, say, the sentiment read on CNN? Yeah, PI, FOMC, rates, yields, bond debt. Okay, cool. Jobs. Earnings for it. It's like your copay, in other words. Pay out of services. I would go with like the coverage. That there's none, right? I would use that. That's what you. I don't know to what. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, cool. Pretty neat. How are you how is it tracking all that data? And you have APIs you're pulling from, or Oh, to your clock. Nice. Very cool. Oh, nice work, man. I like it. I think Fred. But it's on the website. Okay. I think there's like I think Fred. You can. It's a the Federal Reserve site is free API. And then I don't know what else you're using for the. I think rates are gonna come from Fred as well. You can. Maybe yields. I think most of it can come from Fred. I don't know. I don't know what your API sources are, but I know Fred provides quite a few of those data points. It's the Federal Reserve site. No problem. It's this here. I'll share the website right now because I use it for my newswire. On the newswire, I have Fred. Oh, I can't click on it. Ah. Anyways, this one. If you look it up, you'll find it. It releases all the Federal Reserve meet notes and everything they have going on. So the FOMC minutes and stuff like that, it gets released there. I have a newswire for it. I think they even do CPI and jolts from there directly. You gotta read on the open. What is it? Open auction or what? Open. I think it's open drive. If anything. That's an open drive. Down. Man, oh man. So the morning edge log gave right now an open drive bearish open. So this could be a move lower potentially forming as long as it holds below the New York open. Not the ad, what the hell? Random. I will hold this trade until we do a clear breakdown for now. You want me to charge it? Oh. That's a cool report. What do you plan on using it for yourself? Hmm? Like some options for longer DT. You know what I've noticed as well is that the I think there's like the TGA and the M2 money supply, the market kind of runs alongside that as well. I'm not sure how do you get that data though. I don't know anything about that, but I've seen correlations there between the two. TGA, yeah. I've seen that reference before. Yeah, it kind of lags behind sometimes, but you look at it as well. Okay, yeah, I mean, my collaboration is so cool, right? Like you get to kind of get different perspectives. What do you think of the new Nano? There's a new Nano ES? I had no idea. Yeah, this is an open drive down. I think I'm on the wrong side of this trade. Honestly, I might have to flatten this out and then reevaluate. For smaller, crazy, huh? Yeah, it's crazy. 1/100th the size, 1/10 the MES for smaller accounts. That's pretty cool. I mean, even that, like for hedging purposes as well, or swinging trades, you know, if you can swing, and then I'm assuming there's a lower margin requirement for Nano as well. What's the contract on it? Is it NMES? Like the N as a Nancy? Yeah, this is breaking down. I think this is a terrible trade. My bias says it's short because of the open drive down. NES, I believe. Oh, okay. So let's see if it holds as weekly value. If it doesn't, then I'll probably get stopped out anyway, so it's fine. I'm wrong. But it's certainly breaking out. Look at the NQ. They did a full round trip. What a piece of shit. So the structural bias today says it's short because of the open drive down. NES. I'll have to look into that because it's cool of me to swing something like that, you know? No. See if the NQ holds its value area. This is a nice bid if it holds. We'll bid here. Below the gamma flip. And then yeah, somewhere around here where the supply is. Then we'll see what the rest can do. I took a long on NQ as well. I like this setup here because it's tapping that value area low. What's new? Bigger new. Things I get missing. These days by game of you. Way design you. Let's see, what do we got? Can scale one, yes. Nice to scale also. Yeah, that's true. 15 is 1 point. That's actually very true. I've been using SPY shares to swing as the options have one. Yeah. 2.5 worth on it. Huh? Yeah. First swing, that is. Yeah, it's true. And then also like I'm gonna add more. Hold on, give me a sec. Add a little bit more here. There's reclaiming, see if it holds or not, but it has to reclaim. I'm just adding preemptively. So with the swing for sure. The only thing my concern is like, what's the commission on those? Is it are they gonna be able to have a lower commission or slightly discounted commission? Because then one tick is what? What's one tick worth? Or let's just say 1 point. 1 point is probably worth 50 cents, right? If it's $5 now and it's 1/10, it's 50 cents. Let me see. So then if it's 50 cents for 1 point and the commission for one contract, if it's still 110 or on there, $2, then you need to make sure that you're really capturing a decent move, because half of your commission is what, 5 points is one side of the contract. Yeah, because then the commission, so you just have to make it worth it. In order to make it worth it, it would have to be at least like a 20-point trade, at least, if you're doing 1 nano, you know. So I guess we'll see what they do on the commissions. Yeah, right now I'm underwater. It looks like NQ is actually going to do a full, maybe a full breakdown this time around. I don't know. My assumption is they tested that value low here, and they attempt to hold the gamma flip. We reverse, maybe retest VWAP or so. I have a scale a little bit below that, 340s. It's been kind of a magnet for NQ for a while. So I'm taking it there. And then the NQ is just teetering here, but it's currently breaking down technically. It's below the prior day value low. So S&P needs to reclaim the 84s, bottom line. NQ is holding its value, so it's technically still within balance. S&P is imbalance. So I'm underwater in terms of positioning on the S&P because price is imbalanced down. The NQ, I have a cushion because I'm buying a little closer to value and it's holding above that value area. So the long is better correlated in terms of risk allocation on the NQ currently based on where it is within its auction. I know that was a lot I just said, but in other words, NQ is not breaking down yet, still within yesterday's value. And S&P is currently imbalanced down from yesterday's value as is right now. So there's a higher chance the NQ trade works out in my favor rather than the S&P one. Yeah, NQ is either going to break down or it could be a trap. Yep, exactly. Exactly. I guess I'm sure they'll figure something out because I'm sure people are not going to use. I mean, the idea of offering the nano is people should use the offering, and if they're not going to offer, if they don't get enough volume for it, they'll end up having to lower commissions or whatever, or do something to incentivize people to actually use them. With the PA this week, I'm still liking longs. Yeah, I mean it's just everything's relative, you know. Longs, it's all relative to where levels, what area we're talking about longs, right? But I do generally like longs on a day-to-day basis. I agree with that. Yeah. Hey, 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 hey. Where are we going? Can I come to? I will for me and you. So it's like right at the value area right now, 84. See if we can reclaim here. Push up. Oh shoot, sorry. So price is still imbalanced down as long as it holds below that 84 and a quarter on the S&P. Yeah, NQ is not really holding, it's just consolidating, accepting below as well. Come on, man. Get it together. Yeah, it looks pretty ugly on the NQ here. Where's the current month value? It's at 294. So yeah, it's gotta hold that, man. NQ is about to puke. It's about to break that value area again. I know we try. Days they go by. You getting some outperformance here on the S&P now, as opposed to the NQ. Because the Dow is about to break the overnight high right now. You can see the deltas coming in, like buy side delta keeps popping up here. They're trying to push. So if they fail this, there's a lot of trap inventory here that's forming if this doesn't end up reclaiming 84s and pushing higher. As you can see that on the DOM, there's clearly a lot of intent as they reach into 84s with no reward. So if they don't break that, we got a lot of we got some capitulation coming. If they get rewarded, there's going to be some effort right behind them to push price above it. And there's a short squeeze coming because someone's absorbing all that buy side delta, and we know who they are. They're sellers. So if that buy side delta pushes and gets rewarded, those sellers that took in that inventory, they're going to have to step aside and you know, get kicked in the teeth. They're cruising for a bruising if it works out. I'm betting that will happen, obviously, because I'm long, but we'll see. If not, I get my teeth kicked in, you know? Regardless, someone's getting their teeth kicked in here. You can clearly see it because of all the volume transacted here. So someone's going to be rewarded for the risk in a very strong and a very asymmetric way. When you have clusters like that of volume, there's an asymmetrical trade afoot. The only question is in which direction. Well, we'll see. I think if it gets 88s with momentum, it's definitely going to come right into New York Open, which is like 96, which is where we held support yesterday. If you guys remember, the New York Open was support yesterday at 698. New York Open today is right around the same price, 696, 698. When you're taking... Oh. So just keep in mind, like yesterday, this is exactly what happened. We had a little ramp, buy side delta kicked in, they squeezed, and then momentum faded. So I'm cognizant that that could happen again. We could do a look above and fail, just like yesterday. So I'm a little nimble today because I haven't seen bull side continuation in breakouts so far as of yesterday. 1520s, I like it too. I certainly think we can backtest that. Overnight high, second target up, and then final target for me is that. I think for me, it's like the current month value low, which is 717, which is around that area you're talking about, Toxie is the backtest area, right? We broke down the current month value low yesterday, but we didn't backtest from below. So I think today, if we do get momentum, then that's the upside target to backtest from below. It's been a while without your face. Oh, I love this song. My God. Like we fracture on the wall the other day. How much space? I don't know. Shakes your head. Yeah, it's funny. How you been, Toxie? I haven't seen you in a few. I hope you've been good. Not being played. I'm gonna replay this song because this is fucking good. Easy lay low. So again, I'm hesitant because of yesterday's action, you know? We'll see if it holds. Maybe as you work, mainly doing swings lately? Nice. Forex plays. Like, cool. What Forex pairs are you trading? So the Max 7 went green after they had gone red this morning. I'm talking sectors, and I think it's above my head. Let me make sure it's actually loading, right? Yeah, it's there. Okay. Please ain't Joe touch. New York sesh, 4 p.m., 6 in Amsterdam. Gotcha. That makes sense, man. Yeah. It's kind of that peak time. Euro, UCAD. So how do you trade those? Are those pairs, like, are you trading them in alignment with like some sort of macro news? Like, I don't know how currency pairs move at all. I would assume they may react and move based on like, based on some sort of monetary policy or economic policy, government intervention or things like that. Is that how the swing plays out based on those catalysts? Or because my assumption of, like, I don't look at currency pairs, my assumption of them is that they're pretty stable until they're not, right? Unless a catalyst comes in and kind of shakes things up. But I have no clue because I don't look at them. All right, I'm gonna take some off the table here because I do not like this. I just hold half the position, and that's okay with me because I have risk allocated on the NQ as well. So I normally wouldn't condone or wanting to size down the trade, but I don't. I am sizing it down simply because it's not showing my fills. I don't know why. Maybe I need to refresh the chart. Because I have a risk allocation elsewhere as well. I'm sized on the NQ as well. So, like, I don't want to hold that much risk if I'm not really that convinced. And then I'm going to size this one down too. Just have one lot on the NQ as well. And just kind of ride this out, see what happens. If it breaks out, awesome. I have exposure. If it doesn't, my downside risk is mitigated just a tad. Just because, again, I'm not really liking the flow currently. Currency pairs really range bound. I mainly trade the hourly. Oh, mean reversions. Okay. Okay, so just mean reversion trades. Cool. That makes sense because I mean I would assume that currency pairs are mean reverting, or at least they're stable, right? Ain't gonna break your heart. Can't even tell what's going on with the NQ. The candles are all blended together because they're highlighted. Just zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, it's looking pretty weak, man. Super boring, which kind of nicer swings. Yeah, that's kind of what you want, right? Not having to like really work on looking at the position, monitoring it. It's the whole idea of a swing, so that's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Yeah, look at the NQ's puking out again. I'm not liking this. This looks certainly like the open drive to the downside is going to be favored here. So I might just flatten all of this out. Always re-enter, you know. Oh, what were they? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think this might be in favor of the open test drive down that the structural bias says there. So I certainly probably need to find this out here for now. It's rejection so far. I'm gonna try to hold as long as I might just tighten up the stop if anything, but this is certainly looking more like a failed auction. Up in Q is about to break down here again into my stop loss here. I'm gonna give it space, but it's certainly looking like they don't want this to break out past New York Open. See, this is why I'm glad I scaled at 88s. This is the shit that I'm telling you. This is where, like, I mean, the degree of, like, the discretion of looking at the tape every day, it kind of gives me, like, okay, this is not looking like the kind of tape that is going to break out or, you know, explode to the upside. I could tell pretty much within a few moments after it hit 88s that it didn't have the fuel to really squeeze past the 88s. So I scaled some of it and sized down. And that's like discretionary. There's nothing like objective there. Maybe I could make an indicator that can probably highlight that for me, but I just used the experience of looking at the DOM to know that that was definitely a good area to size down. And right now it's telling me this is gonna puke too. So not very good. Not very good. The edge log says today's a short bias day, so let's see if that remains true. It's open drive down so far until they reclaim New York Open. They bid it again. Where's NQ? Yeah, it's getting bid as well. Is the S&P below its gap flow? Yeah, it is. NQ rejected again. It's not good, bro. Not good. Yeah, NQ's imbalanced. You know what? I'm gonna find this bitch out. Fuck all this. Let's see. I'll drag the stop loss real tight here. I don't like any of this positioning. This is not the market, the kind of positioning long I want to be part of, even if it works out the upside. All right, NQ is now imbalanced. S&P is now imbalanced. They're both within their value areas. So this was different earlier. They were opposites, right? Now they're both aligned. So, and then the the Dow is literally at the high of the session. It's at the overnight high. So you can talk about like divergences, right? It's been the story of the market for a little while. Things are just all over the place. It's not much alignment. Yeah, this does not look good. And yeah, I got stopped out on the NQ trade on the one lot. And then the S&P one's right here. So it's hitting the gamma flip. That's always a good spot to see if the failed breakdown forms right at the gamma flip on NQ. See if that ends up happening or it just ends up amplifying the move lower. We'll find out soon enough. Oh, I only still have one lot. Oh, just find it out. There you go. Cool. That ends the positioning there. This I think Angela might have is definitely correct here. To move lower, open drive down. Here's NQ's right at the gamma flip as well. If it flips here and it holds below, it either accelerates the move lower, and that should help the S&P with the breakdown it's currently trying to put in. I did have a long last night on NQ that worked out pretty freaking well. It's right here. Right at 300s. I got one lot that was able to scale for 172 points overnight. And it hit right there, right at the value high. Okay, let's see if it puts in that failed breakdown on the NQ. I like it if NQ can reclaim that value low. I got trailed out at the low of the session right now on the S&P. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. And I got stopped out at the low of the session on NQ too. And the YM actually broke out. And it's breaking out right now. Where are the chips at? Chips are okay. Just watching NQ, see if it reclaims the value low. Okay, it's holding 84s. Momentum's okay on the tape on the S&P. It's still slow, but what time is it? IB is about to form. Okay, NQ is above the VAL. We'll try it there. Same stop area as before. VWAP on the trade for sure on this one. And we'll see. Touch the gamma flip, held. Currently trying to hold the prior value low. It's a failed breakdown of this morning's little drop. We can hold here, push, reclaim to massive reversal, but only because it's a higher time frame one. But it's pretty. You look at this right now on the NQ. It's not a high conviction because it has to reclaim 300s to really get moving, right? So could be. I was about to look at it because it could be a trap, and it certainly looks like one right now. Yeah, S&P is really just chopping. So I like structurally the NQ more than anything because the S&P is just chopping between all the VWAP and the value area and everything. The NQ is actually putting in a structural breakdown of the morning low, of 7 a.m. low, and then also a failed breakdown of the gamma flip. Because of that, and it's the put wall too. I guess they're both in the same spot today. I mean, I didn't expect that, but I like that setup there. Structurally more so than the NQ. I'm sorry, more than the S&P. And then I'll scale it here at the VWAP and then go from there. Gonna leave my stop at 71, walk away. I think you have the right idea there. PA hurts my I think you have the right idea there. I'm just letting it there and walking away, letting it resolve itself, because I think it is gonna. What I can see is the NQ can resolve itself to the upside. My only concern is I don't know if the S&P can do the same, only because of where it is structurally. It's like very teeter-totter. It's like literally in the middle of a value area from yesterday, and it's like keeps trading above and below, above and below, above and below. On the NQ, I can clearly see that it probed below. It's supported initially right above it, the value low, and then it did a full breakdown of it into the gamma flip and then reclaim back above again. So to me, that's a lot cleaner of like look below and fail than the S&P currently is doing right now. So structurally, I'm more comfortable with the long on the NQ. Yeah, it's expiry today. Yeah, I could. I mean, let me see. Let's look at where all the gamma exposure is for today's expiration. I have a gamma report for monthly options. Oh, it's gonna run at 7:47, so it'll run it in like 20 minutes. The gamma report for the monthly OPEX expiration. So we'll see where the pin is for today. That report will tell me where the pin is for the S&P. So in about 20 minutes, that report will automatically populate. And then we'll kind of see where dealers need a pin or would like to pin price for OPEX expiration. Oh my. Yeah, NQ's S&P is failing. NQ is fucking teetering again. What a dog shit of a day again, dude. So far, it looks like just slow tape. I don't know if all of this is just unwinding of today's pin, the expiration for this month, because once August 1st came and we had that massive breakdown, I mean, price action was pretty fluid for like, I don't know, from August 1st to like maybe the 7th or 8th, and after that, it's just been chop. So I don't know if this is, a lot of it's just pinning for OPEX and see if the pin releases next week. I would hope so. There's just been a ton of pin, and low volume grind. Another terrible day, yeah, for PA. Look at the S&P. It's like, it's just teetering at the value or low. It's disgusting. You know, the hands were dealt, man. It was good. If they can hold cleanly over that midnight V1 for me, I'll try it long at some point on the S&P. But for now, just let them do whatever they're gonna do. You know, like for me, I need to see it there, and then maybe there's some momentum behind it on the tape. I'll add a couple lots and see if we can break that IB high in New York Open. I know for sure that if we do end up reclaiming this area, there's a pretty clean move to the overnight high, because the reclaim of this area would invalidate the open drive, and it's also where we have found support yesterday all morning long. So holding above this New York Open is very telling for a clean move to 704, which is where we faded from yesterday. This is where VWAP was yesterday at 704 before we broke down. 704 would be a clean back test once more. And then after that, if it holds 704, then it's obviously the next level up is like 715, 717. So I can see a clean trade, but we have to hold above that midnight V1 for me to be even interested in attempting to initiate a long here now. This is just choppy for me on the S&P, and I'm not going to enter it. I'll let them resolve the direction first before I initiate. Because right here, this can go both ways from here. I don't know. Right now, it's leaning more lower than it is higher. But it's hard to tell because they keep bouncing. Where's the NQ at? Yeah. The IB, oh, the IB is set. Cool. About to break down the IB. IB low. Ugh. Let's try to reverse again. NQ's holding pretty well, regardless of what the S&P is doing right now, because I think it's mainly due. Let's see what the sectors are doing. Okay. Let's see, what do we got? The Dow Jones, pretty green across the board. Not bad. NQ, pretty mixed. Got some chips that are down a bit, but not much. We're just pretty much near their, given the high beta they have, they're not that much movement. Yeah, pretty mixed day. Where's the S&P at? S&P has more red. Light. So chips and memory is down today. Some rotation into Mag 7, healthcare, and utilities. That explains the muted action. Everything that's like highly weighted isn't really getting a bid. But then things are not that are highly weighted are getting a bid. So you got this like chop going on. A little bit more on the NQ as it kind of holds strength there. Two, oops. Yeah, something like that. It look like here. Pretty weak still. 4 hour. I may want to do another probe. There's a level at 202 on the NQ. I might need to go down a little lower before it goes higher. We'll find this out right now. I think NQ, I think it might want to do another sweep of that low. We'll let it come down to 200. There's like a open failed breakdown level right there at 202. $241 and 202. 241, yeah. Hey. Okay. Your face. If else is value, I like it. I might just have to hard. I want to position this in a way where I can have flexibility to add more. So I may have to put my stop down there. Kind of keep this here. And then go from there. Like I like the NQ long, but I also see a place where it can trade lower. I got back into the long there, but I can see a place where it comes down to 200s, does a sweep, and then goes back up. I want to be able to add on that, so I'll add here small, and then I'll widen the stop in case it goes a bit lower. I can average more in. And if it goes from here, then I'll just scale out the value high near the 34. S&P is trying to still milk this range. It's not really taking a true direction. It's just still chopping around. I like the S&P, but it has to get above that midnight VWAP or the current value or high. Essentially, it needs to tell me that it wants to break out, right? Hold above the value area. That it wants to imbalance above the current range. So far, all it's done is chop. So for me to get conviction, I need to see it hold above and show that it wants to imbalance. In other words, it show that it wants to start to trend. If the NQ can really just get above 320s, I would have conviction on the S&P. But for now, I don't, because of the NQ is in a very nimble place where I can see this going both ways in a big way. It can either reclaim this area and do a complete reversal, or remain imbalanced and then do a full breakdown, because it's at the current monthly value area low, which is a massive area. A massive level to be trading at from a higher time frame perspective. These fucking windows are... No. I know. Love you. I love you. Bye. Okay, they're going for it. See if this is going to do it or not. I'll erase all these drawings now. Man, Q is trying. It's trying. Where are you going? Not come to. Where you from? You. I'll be right back. I got the restroom. All the lows. Let's see if this is real or not. It's what, 752? Yeah, man, what a chop, huh? A lot of fuel here, so this whole inventory, I mean, this is inventory for expansion potentially into today. Whether the expansion holds or not is beyond me. I don't really care. I only care until I sell. But all this volume consolidated in this area is due for an expansion, right? In some direction. I guess we'll see in which direction that is. Obviously, I'm favoring the upside. And as we trade into the zone, I do want to be long the S&P as well. So let's see what we got. I'll bid a little bit here. Momentum's picking up a bit more. This momentum has to sustain for me to be interested in holding this. So as momentum picks up here into the 88s, want to see if ES can push through and hold 688. We'll bid and trail or adjust stop loss below the current weekly VAL at 679. So here's the momentum push. Thank you can get going. Past the 320s. Here it is. Starting it down there. God bless, man. God. If this does a look above and fail, back below 683, 82, could be a breakdown. So if it breaks, if it does this, so eventually, like if this does a look above here and then fails, then it's probably just a breakdown, you know, just kind of like yesterday. We did a look above and fail. Yeah, it's gonna fuck you. Fucking S&P, you little bitch. Let's see if it holds the VWAP, but this looks like a look above and fail right now, or a failed breakout, essentially. We'll see. But yeah. We'll see. Gotta hold. Gotta hold this. It's gotta hold below VWAP for me to think it's a fail. So around here. This little area. And I'll be open to the idea that it's a potential, failed breakout of this little range that's formed so far. NQ supports that thesis. NQ is not really breaking above this 320 area, the prior day close. That 320 area is pretty critical area. It's just teetering between two zones that are important. Mainly it's holding the monthly value low, but it's barely holding on to them. You can kind of see it's barely bouncing off of it. It needs momentum. This whole market needs momentum in either direction, at least. I don't really care which way, as long as it gets going. Okay, I'll bid more here as it gets momentum. Don't get away from me. There we go. And then NQ, I don't want to bid more. I think I'm good on that one. I'll just end up monitoring the action here as we approach VWAP if it breaks out. La na na na. So the full session value high is 92. I might. No, it's too tight. It's not even worth the risk. The 92 is another area that needs to hold. That's the full session value high. The RTH value highest at 688. So 92s is yet another milestone that needs to hold. And Q is trying to probe here, hold. Yeah, I mean, I would say for me to feel comfortable with the NQ long, it needs 400s. Bottom line. 400s, I have no doubt that this can break out on the NQ. Right now, it's just teetering. Right now, it's just like sideways. I don't know. Yes, no, maybe. But if it gets beyond 400s, my conviction on the long thesis would be way higher, because that's a critical area that needs to break. It's a very strong positioning area for sellers. You want more? The Dow is back at the overnight high. It's likely some of the strength the S&P is experiencing here because the NQ is just stuck here at 320s. Like I said before, 320s is a massive level. If it breaks 320s, it should be able to pop at least 50 from there to 360, 370. Those are kind of like the interim pivots. Where's the NQ? NQ, the Mag 7 have gone green. They were slightly red this morning. The chips remain red. They've been red since most of the open. So nothing's changed there. The only thing that's changed intraday is the fact that the Mag 7 went green. Some of them went green. 4 of them of the 7 went green. See if this space plays or not. That seller's been sitting there at 95s all morning. There's an offer right there, 458. It's been sitting there for a minute. if this holds over the New York Open, which is at 696, it invalidates the open drive down and can create a squeeze higher. Good morning. There's that seller, got gobbled up. Dang, they squeezed into it. Look at that. All right, we'll scale some here just because it's the IB high. We haven't broken either IB today, so I'm open to taking profit there at IB. Repent. Scaling half the position here at the IB high. There you go. They hit me right there at the IB high. Like I said earlier, I was open to going long in S&P. I just needed to see a hold above that area, that midnight VWAP Bel Air high. They didn't do it in the way I would have liked, so I didn't add much size, only 6 micros. Had they done with momentum, probably would have added more. The only thing that I did like was, you know, the one time framing up, the candles just not overlapping each other to the downside. That gave me some conviction to hold a trade and not really struggle or think about it too much. But I always am going to take profit at a statistical area. Statistically, the IB high is always the best spot to take profits on any position. And the next area up is going to be the overnight high if it tags, which is 704. There's another seller just sitting there at 708. I haven't seen that many passive sellers sitting at the offer in a while. They're just chilling there. They typically don't offer like that, where they just show their position sitting there at an offer. I'm going to scale some of the NQ. This is more of a risk off for me because I don't want to see a look above and fail like yesterday. I don't want to be prone to a fake out, so to speak. So I will risk off on that, adjust stop loss to break just below where that monthly value low is on the NQ, and then trail this into the IB high, which is New York Open on the NQ. That's the target. And one day we'd all get rich. NQ is right approaching VWAP here. We can reclaim VWAP. We got a straight move into that 400 area. That is where I expect there to be some selling pressure. That 400 area is it's a higher time frame positioning zone. Substack plans for me will always supersede anything Edgelog says, which is why if you look at the chat history, I have been long biased coming into this morning. Which is also why I opted for the NQ long of the failed breakdown of the ONL on an Edgelog. I'm not going to tell you what trades you should and shouldn't take. I'll leave that to your discretion, but that to me is the way I view things. My higher time frame analysis on Substack supersedes whatever Edgelog might have on any given day. a lot of deltas being spread out here. I'm gonna scale a little bit more here. So that's some of, I'm assuming some of this delta print, look at that, there's more sellers right there pressing. There's an offer sitting right there at 535, right at the 698 and a quarter. Some of this high delta that's being pushed out into the market on the tape you can see on the DOM, I'm assuming some of that is net positioning from that was short in this little range. Like I said earlier, this is fuel for a move out of the box, right? The question is, does the move hold? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to hold. I can see and gauge whether it's going to hold or not. But what I do know is that when I see that massive amount of delta being distributed, pushed out, that is positioning being unwound from what was built within this range. And so I'm going to sell into that, right? Anybody that was short here, the delta that's printing on the DOM is all being distributed around this area. So I'm going to sell into that because I don't know if there's going to be anyone that's willing to buy that excess inventory to keep price floating higher. I don't know. So I'm going to distribute my inventory, my positioning into that in case they don't. So the next target for me as I scale this is the overnight high. Statistically, the overnight high or overnight low trades 90% of the time. One or the other, not both. I have a stat report that I talk about all the time on this stream about statistical targets that I use on any given day. And it's always the initial balance high or low, and the overnight high or low. And so I'm naturally just going to scale there regardless of what price does after or before. Thanks, Roy. Trade took quite some patience, but once I gave it time to breathe, it became clear they could break and continue. You're looking for the ONH failed breakout? Yeah, so floating, we're at like a 1 grand. A K floating. Not floating, I think floating is only about... floating is only about 200 or so of that. I've locked in about 732. Look at that. So they came in, took out that inventory, and then they're breaking back down. That's why this is why I like to sell, right? The positioning, just in case. Because I don't know if anyone's gonna want to. I don't know if there's enough bulls to want to take in that excess inventory, all those stop losses being triggered. then I'll adjust this stop to... Damn, it's hard. Probably below the VWAP for now, but it's hard to put a stop on this because I can see this coming all the way down to VWAP and still being good long. These slow tape days for me are harder to trade. I like the tape when the tape is really fast. And the reason is when the tape is really fluid and moving, people are more prone to make mistakes. They're over positioned in certain areas or chase, and that over positioning or chasing creates opportunity when the tape is really moving and fluid. Because then there's more opportunity for traps or reversals in favor of the bigger picture trend. And when the tape's really bouncing around, making moves, volatility is decent, there's more opportunities to add to a trade as it expands and goes higher and higher or lower and lower. We haven't had those setups in, I think, a month now. In mid-June, I was having plenty of those opportunities. Mid-session, early session entry, mid-session add, and then scale, scale, scale. We haven't had that since June. I would say at least mid to early July, we haven't had any of that opportunity. Oh no. Well, I have nothing to do here but I just chill, man. I don't think I will add to the only one I'm open to adding is the NQ. It's the only one. They're testing 92s, which was the pre-market high, or pre-market's little range right there. So if this momentum's real, it should hold here and then continue to trade to the overnight high. If not, it's going to fade back in, come back in, just, I don't know, do a whole chop or whatever it does after that. But this 92 area, for me, I think it would need to see if this momentum continues or not. Dang, look at all these Jeez, what are you doing right now? Obliterating my screen with terminals, Jesus. Teetering. Rank is cheating right at the VWAP. Like, it's trying to see if it wants to continue higher or bring back in once more. Oh shit, did that report ever pull? Let me see, can we run a... I forgot about the OPEX report. Let's take a look at it. It's tucking back in. Not what you want to see. Do the GABA report. Not what you want to see. Let's see if it holds or not, but overall, like, very slow. You can see the tape is the same way it's been. All they did was distribute all the inventory that got filled here. They pretty much just stopped everyone out, and then now they're back trying to enter the range again. So that's OPEX for you. Ugh. I wouldn't say it's a fade, right? You might just want to see if it holds or not, continues and expands away from it. But if you're short biased, you certainly want to see a break below here, and then do a breakdown below VWAP. I would say is like probably a strong area to hold below. Nice long. Hey, thanks, man. In a daydream? No worries. I mean, honestly, there's not much to really be engaged by in this price action. It's been so dry, you know. That's your job, just to get your Jordans. They're holding in the box. Oh, I have nothing to do now. I just like manage the trade, you know, let this thing kind of play out. And see what it wants to do thereafter. If it wants to continue to break past New York Open, test overnight high, I have a sell, a lot ready to sell. If momentum continues past the overnight high and wants to back test the current month value area low at 716, I have a sell lot there for 2 targets. If price wants to come back inside the box, tuck back in, break below VWAP, and maybe put in a failed breakout, I have a stop loss ready to go. So for me, I mean, I'm hands off. NQ, same thing. NQ, you know, currently holding the current month value area low, the prior day value area low, the current weekly value area low. It's holding all those levels right now. Base, if it can just consolidate above all of that, I would assume maybe mid to late day, I can get a relief pop into maybe the New York Open. That's where the IB high is, but I don't know. I can't really. The NQ has been pretty choppy right now, just dancing around VWAP. So who knows? Who knows? I don't. If this shit No, I'm right there with you. Like I also express that same frustration. If this reverses, like it's frustrating. The only peace of mind I have is that I scaled the position, and you know, the stop loss will be a small net loss compared to the of the rest of the position. Right now it's currently holding or teetering around the RTH value area high at 89s. Base, that level should hold this area. I don't know if it does. It should hold, but we'll see. So we'll see. Came right into the box. Oh, look, it bounced. I looked away for a sec. It bounced 4 points, 5 points now. 6 points, sorry, from 89. Yeah, gimme green. I just saw you like, yeah, gimme green, you know? I don't know. That's what I pictured when I saw that, when I heard that. Got what you need if you like breaking that. Make my heart race nowadays. I know, with the tight volatility, I mean, for it honestly is true. We're the VIX at 15, bro. 15. Crazy. Hey man, respect for being able to hold a trade there, Toxie. We don't got a lot of cowboys that can hold positions that long. At least not that I know of. Most of them are pretty quick pumps. They're like, I don't know. I feel like people, a lot of traders that I've seen, they have some sort of paranoia, or they lack conviction in their trades to hold them. So I don't know. I think that it's very hard to find people that hold trades. I mean, you held a trade for, I would say, at least what now is over an hour, because you walked away, walked your dog, came back, and still holding the same trade, you know? Took too much mental capital. I am right there with you. That's the same reason I don't like trading such short-term trades. Yeah. It takes way too much mental capital. It's very taxing to be trading shorter term. And that taxing mental, like for me, like this is why there's so many types of traders, right? Because some people, that's easy, that's no problem. For me, it leads me to tilt. I'm more prone to tilt because of the how mentally taxing it is to go from 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 loss, 2 wins, 3 wins, 1 loss, 3 wins, 1 loss. You know, just like back and forth, back and forth. And it's just like that fluctuation in performance in a short span of time. It really doesn't do well for me. I long 2 or 3 at New York time this morning, huh? Took a partial. Oh, nice. Well, that's a great entry. So you've been in for a few hours. Not bad. I was long since last night on the S&P. When we first came into the session, I was already long from yesterday. From last night, I think at 70 on the S&P. But I only had 2 lots, to be fair. It wasn't a big size by any means. I also had a long on the NQ. So here's my long on the NQ, on the S&P. I was long here. And then when I was asleep, it got target at 78. And then this is where I start adding, and I got stopped out or trailed out 81 on the rest of the ads. So it was a swing from last night, and the NQ, same thing. I was long 300s on NQ yesterday or last night. I scaled most of the position early for 40 points or so, and then I had 1 lot that got taken out. I had to put a target above the prior value high, and it got triggered overnight. So I walked in today, and most of my overnight longs, they had taken profit. So they tested the value high almost perfectly and then held. That's very simple analysis. That's true. We sold off, and then the back test part, right? Any breakdowns? That's true. The mechanics, the understanding of that mechanic of the market is very underrated. That's very underrated information. I haven't seen people ever talk about or say. I don't know if every asset does this, but the S&P specifically, if it breaks down a level or 2 or 3 in one day, and in that day, if it did not backtest before it broke down, meaning it did this. This is a support. Well, this is a range, another range. If price does this is a range, and it just breaks down, it doesn't backtest that range, it just does this. At some point, it's going to backtest this one, and it's going to backtest this one. So your role now at that point is very simple. You have your targets. You know where markets can potentially come back to backtest. Question now is, where's the reversal to that? You get long and then target those backtests of those areas that did not backtest on the way down. So I agree. Agree. Hey, look at the NQ's up over 100 points now, right? Let's see, 285, 400 gas to it. That's definitely I can't do math. 29, 285 minus 9, 400. 115 points. At some point, the asymmetry is going to point in favor of those backtests 100%. So shorting doesn't make sense. Agreed. Definitely agree. Toxie knows things. He knows things. He's been around the block. Too many liquidations. You know, today is like the day where I've seen the most amount of passive sellers resting at the book. So like that 708 seller right there on the S&P, he's been sitting there for a while. And today this as well at 695, there was another seller there just resting for I think 500 lots. It was like 495 or so. So there's been quite a bit of resting limit orders on the sell side today. All right, got one lot left, and it's going to be at that call wall. Somewhere between that and 17s is fair to target. NQ, nice run. I'm going to lock in the NQ one here. Call it. Just going to hold one lot and just wrap it up here for the day. Yeah. 60% out. Nice. Leaving one runner for 14s and the last one for 30s. All right. Well, nice work, man. You really held to it. You really stuck to it on the long, and you stuck to it. So if you see the little orange level, it says plan on my little chart. That was the plan from my Substack newsletter. Plan was for price to hold that area, and that's the reason I was more long biased than anything, because here it is. So the plan was ideally this would need to hold from above. In other words, I would ideally need to see price gap above it before initiating any longs. Longs, I made a typo there. To ensure that the supply that formed from the last 2 hours of the day is completely gone. So the supply I'm referencing was the supply side that hit the market between 780s to 770s that was there yesterday into the close. ES would trade, you know, ideally would consolidate, blah, 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 trade back above and retest from above the 680s through 75s. And it did exactly that. It traded 680s through 75. 75 is near the low of the session. And then it just consolidated and went. Just took its time. I unfortunately got stopped out on the process because my stop was too tight. and then I re-enter later at a higher price. Here was the planned area. The low was 76. And Q, wow, I should have targeted that IB high. Look at that. Well, fuck me, I skipped that on like, what, 70 extra points? That's fine. Is what it is. I'm 100 degrees, hot as fuck, in a rush. Money hag. Alright, let's name this trade. Out there. There's a pile of rocks. But he knows that this song is not pressing as the last one was. 7 smell like non-choppers. Alright. Well, I'm wrapped up here, guys. I hope you have a good weekend. I'm gonna bounce. If this takes, you know, targets right there, a few ticks away. See if it hits the call wall. If NQ breaks above the New York Open and holds, oh boy. I think we can go all the way to 680s. Have a good one, Toxie. Nice holding that trade. Way to go. Hope everyone else has a good weekend. Take care, guys.